It's been a while. Were you waiting for Grandma?
What? No. I didn't know Grandma was coming.
Then why are you outside? It's raining too.
The woman told me to go outside. Today's my sister's birthday, and I'm not supposed to join.
My son, who remarried with a child, had a daughter with his new wife, and today is the daughter's birthday. I was invited to the birthday party too, so I went there. Shockingly, my son's son Kay, whom he had with his ex-wife, was left out in the rain in the yard.
Can you tell me more?
It's not just today. Whenever Dad goes to work, the woman always.
Hearing this from my grandson, I was appalled. It seems like he's always been treated as an outsider. This is ridiculous. Unbelievable. Just because he's not her child. Such things should never be done. But if they say he's not part of the family, then that's that. I decided to call Kay's real family and have them come over. My name is Sally, a 74-year-old living alone in New York. I might say so myself, but I'm healthy enough to proudly claim I'm independent of care and far from dementia, so my only son doesn't worry about me and focuses on his own family.
Hello. Are you coming back for Christmas?
Yeah, I plan to come home, so count on that. Since we don't live close, he only visits me once a year during Christmas with his family, but I had good neighborhood relations and lived quite happily.
I'm home.
Thanks for having us. My son, holding his newborn, and his wife entered the house. They got married 2 years ago, and their baby was born 6 months ago. I was really looking forward to meeting my grandchild, and my son's wife got along well with me. Losing my husband 3 years ago, I had been living alone. The birth of this new life was a joy and gave me a sense of purpose. The baby, sleeping peacefully in my son's arms. Just seeing that filled me with warmth.
You must be tired from the long journey. I'll take care of Kay. That might be best. He's quiet now because he's tired, but he always cries when he's held by him. Maybe babies prefer the soft arms of women over the muscular arms of men.
We could joke like that, and my son, hearing our conversation, would chuckle. Having such a wonderful family, I felt truly blessed. Every Christmas felt like that. But then, one day, 3 years later, I got a call from my son. He usually doesn't call, so I wondered what happened. When I answered the phone.
Hello? Mom, I'm getting divorced, and I need to leave Kay with you for a while.
What?
I was so surprised I raised my voice. He's getting divorced? They seemed like a modest, happy couple when they last visited. He hadn't mentioned any marital problems, so it was a real shock. But he wasn't joking, he had already divorced. He said he'd bring Kay to talk about it, but I was restless.
What happened? And about the divorce? Can you explain?
She left the divorce papers, kind of like abandoning the son, so I've decided to cut ties with her, and you should too. Can I borrow your phone?
He took my phone and deleted her contacts. She left suddenly. I couldn't believe she'd do something so irresponsible. I wasn't that close to her to know her character well. But leaving without reason seems unlikely. Maybe my son was at fault. As a mother, I know what motherhood is like. It's not something you can control with your emotions. No matter what, a mother prioritizes her children over herself.
I don't know what happened between you two, but did you talk it up properly?
She acted selfishly and abandoned our child, so there's no need to side with her.
But a mother is. So you're siding with a woman who abandoned her child and not your own son?
I couldn't argue with that. Indeed, based on reality. I was not sure what happened, but she left the child and went away. There's no mistaking that fact.
But what are you planning to do now?
For now, I have work, so you look after Kay. You can live in my house. All right. I'll take care of him until things settle down. We need to think about daycare too.
Of course, my son has work, so Kay can't be left alone. And I didn't have much to do at home, so I decided to help with childcare. In half a year, we found a daycare for Kay, and my son arranged to leave work on time, proudly parenting as a single father. I used to occasionally visit my son on my days off, and he seemed to relish his rare breaks. As life went on, one day when my grandson turned 4, my son called me.
Actually, I'm getting remarried.
What? Married?
I've got someone pregnant. But I was planning to marry her anyway, so it's no problem.
I see. Remarriage is a joyous occasion. As a mother, I should be happy about my son's remarriage, but something bothered me.
Have you talked to Kay about it? Huh? If you're getting remarried, shouldn't you tell Kay? He's already 4. Wouldn't he be confused if a new mom suddenly shows up?
Had he not thought about his son? Kay wasn't just a baby anymore. He's 4 years old, so not discussing it with him seems unthinkable.
Well, he's not shy or anything, so I think it'll be fine. Besides, she says she likes kids.
What? So they haven't met yet?
Well, they haven't met, but it's not that worrisome.
Really? Kay is not a baby anymore. He's at an age where he can understand things, and he knows he doesn't have a mother at home. Yet, he hasn't thought about his son at all. I have my reservations about shotgun weddings. If my son has time to have children elsewhere, he should be investing that time and money in his own child.
You haven't even introduced them, and she's pregnant. What are you thinking?
It's none of your business, Mom.
Is everything really okay? Kay isn't very shy, but suddenly living with an unknown woman and being mothered by her. And then a new baby arrives. I don't know much about my son's new wife, but will she really take good care of them? Won't she just focus on her own child once it's born? I was worried and angry at my thoughtless son.
As a father, you should think more about your child.
It's my life, after all, and having both parents in a household is better for the child, isn't it?
My son said just that and hung up the phone. Honestly, I couldn't understand what he was thinking. Considering it's a shotgun wedding, I can't imagine he married for Kay's sake. Can Kay really live properly from now on, receiving enough love and care? I had various concerns, but provoking my son further might only lead to worse outcomes. I believe I've made my point clear, so I decided to leave it at that. After that, I didn't hear from my son for 2 years, which passed in the blink of an eye.
Hello? It's been a while, Mom. It has been a while. How is everyone?
I was smiling as I answered the call from my son after such a long time. There had been no reports about his marriage or about his new wife's child. But he's my dear only son, and I was happy he reached out after so long.
Sorry, I haven't been in touch. Been pretty busy. But I wanted to show you your second grandchild's face. Was the baby born healthy? Yes. Today is her first birthday. So, I want you to invite my place. I also want to introduce you to my new wife.
It's already been a year. I would have loved to visit right after the birth, but our last conversation about his remarriage had turned into a bit of a fight, so I guess it couldn't be helped. Anyway, he has finally invited me to the birthday party. I quickly got ready and left the house. What should I buy for a 1-year-old? I decided on a teddy bear and headed to my son's house. My son lived in a house with a yard, and the gate was left open. I thought it might be a forgetful mistake, but as it started to rain, I was about to knock at the front door. Then, in front of a shed in the corner of the yard, there was someone. My eyes aren't what they used to be, but it was a small figure.
Grandma!
With those words, the rain poured down. The child running towards me, drenched, was unmistakably my grandson Kay. Why, is he outside? And he's so thin for a 4-year-old. He seemed more relieved than happy to see me. What's going on? It's been a while. Were you waiting for Grandma?
What? No. I didn't know you were coming.
Then why are you outside? It's raining.
The woman said to go outside. Today's my sister's birthday, so I'm not supposed to join.
What is this? The woman, is she my son's new wife? Just told to go outside, and in this rain, without anyone worrying to fetch him. Why can't Kay celebrate his sister's birthday with everyone?
Is the woman your dad's new wife?
Yes. She doesn't seem to like me much. But she loves my sister.
Do you get treated like this often?
Yes. But Dad's at work.
I couldn't believe it. Ever since my son talked about remarrying, I had been anxious. I've heard stories from friends about women who marry men with children from previous relationships. Initially, they treat the stepchildren like their own, but once they get pregnant and have their own child, their attitude towards the stepchildren often changes drastically. Their own child and maternal instincts awaken, but that's why I feared a shotgun wedding might not work out well. Still, I believed my son would understand and handle it well. For the past year, Kay had been living every day as the odd one out.
I'm sorry I didn't notice earlier. What else happened to you? When Dad is at work, I have different meals from them. There's a lot more. Where's your dad now? He said he had sudden work and left.
Kay said, looking down. I found out that my son wasn't home, as he had texted me saying something urgent came up and he needed to delay our meeting by 2 hours. That meant only my son's new wife and her daughter were in the house. I could have barged in, but I couldn't trust the stepmother who seemed to be deliberately mistreating Kay. Plus, I had a lingering concern. So, I decided to take Kay to a nearby diner and contact someone.
I need your help. Can you come over right away?
After my call, that person agreed to come immediately. An hour later, we returned to my son's house. Taking a deep breath, I knocked at the door, and a young woman soon answered.
May I help you? Didn't even come to greet me, so you don't recognize your husband's mother?
As I said that, the new wife's face tensed up. She noticed Kay hiding behind me and realized the situation.
Well, there are many things I want to discuss, but first, about Kay. What do you think you're doing with him?
That is,
If you've remarried,
you should take responsibility and raise him properly.
Initially, I planned to do the talking, but the former wife, whom I had brought along, couldn't hold back anymore and shouted out loud.
And you are, who exactly?
Let me explain. She's Kay's biological mother, my son's ex-wife.
What?
I heard from my son that today is your daughter's birthday. And we found Kay left outside in the yard. I couldn't stand it, so I took Kay in and contacted her. As I explained, the new wife glared at the ex-wife. Naturally, she dislikes her husband's ex-wife. But does she realize her position? She had been terribly mistreating Kay and didn't seem to feel guilty at all.
You're glaring pretty hard, but do you understand your situation?
What you've done to Kay, how serious is it? I understand you're my mother-in-law, but why would the ex-wife come? It doesn't make sense. My husband told me. You got tired of parenting and ran away, right?
The new wife looked down on the ex-wife. I guess she really doesn't want his ex-wife's presence after what she did. But did she really think the ex-wife left for selfish reasons? If that were the case, I wouldn't have called her here. It looked like the new wife had no intention of reflecting on her actions, and this might turn into a long battle. Just then, someone rushed in from behind.
Wait! What's going on here? And you, why are you here?
My son arrived, surprised to see his ex-wife. The people he wasn't supposed to meet were now facing each other, and I thought they were in a bit of a panic, but I opened my mouth to explain the situation.
First, you need to understand how poorly your son has been treated by your new wife. And why did you become a single father in the first place?
What?
My son looked at his ex-wife. Probably not having spoken since the divorce. Perhaps she had wanted to talk, but my son had blocked her, making communication impossible. The ex-wife hesitated, then took a deep breath and began to speak.
I was actually suffering from postpartum depression, diagnosed by a hospital. But you were completely uninvolved in parenting. I couldn't take it anymore.
I had only recently found out myself. His ex-wife didn't just leave, she was at her mental limit due to postpartum depression. My son had deleted his ex-wife's contact information, so I couldn't reach out, but she hadn't blocked me, and recently she contacted me to tell the truth. My son had a new family, and I hadn't spoken to him for almost 2 years, so I thought it would be a while before they could meet. But then this happened.
So that's what happened?
I regret what I did now.
Wait. But why would you just show up like this? You're an outsider, get out.
His ex-wife and my son were finally starting to understand what happened during their divorce. That was a relief. However, the main issue was not that. I brought her here because I knew her fault in the divorce wasn't that significant. The problem lies with this new wife.
I heard from Kay. When you're not around, she often doesn't feed him properly, and today, she left him outside in the rain. What are you talking about? That's not true. He said he wanted to play outside today. It's not like that. This woman.
Kay said this and began to cry, hugging his biological mother. It was clear then who he was attached to and how the stepmother had been treating him until now.
I heard from Kay that if he said anything strange, you would kick him out. That's why he couldn't speak up until now, right? It's important to work to support your family as a father, but there were things you should have paid more attention to.
As I said this, my son walked towards his new wife, glaring at her. I had never seen him this angry before. But it was clear he was thinking about Kay, and I felt relieved.
What's going on? You said you thought of Kay as your own son. That's why I entrusted him to you. That is... Explain what's going on. What are you thinking? I had to say that, or you wouldn't have married me. Who would genuinely care for a child made with some former woman? That's impossible.
There it was, her true colors. From the beginning of the remarriage, she never intended to care for Kay. That's why she neglected Kay when my son wasn't around. I understand not wanting to dote on a stepchild, but she married him knowing he had a child. I won't let you say such irresponsible things.
I won't let you be so irresponsible. I trusted you, and this is what you do. Shut up. It's impossible to care for someone else's child. I don't want to spend money or do anything for that kid.
As the new wife said this, my son, though trying to stay calm, clenched his fists. I thought he might lash out, but instead, he went inside the house. What was happening? As we stood outside, unsure of what to do next. Please sign this.
What? I can't live with you or trust you anymore. You understand, right?
My son said this as he handed her divorce papers. He had gone inside to take them out. Everyone was shocked by this unexpected move, but my son seemed serious about divorcing.
I'm cutting ties with you. We'll discuss custody, but I can't leave my child with someone like you. But what about me? How will I live if you divorce me? Don't be so irresponsible. Irresponsible? Who's really being irresponsible here? I can't trust you with my child.
As my son firmly stated this, the new wife fell silent. I never expected such an outcome, and neither my ex-daughter-in-law nor I could find words, but perhaps my son was finally considering Kay's well-being.
Mom, I'm sorry for all this. For now, can you please take Kay? I'll take care of him from here. Of course. I'll look after him for a while.
Obviously, I couldn't leave my precious grandson in a house with such a woman. We quickly prepared some things and took Kay back to my house. He seemed more at ease, and though the birthday party was ruined, maybe it was for the best. About a week later, everything seemed to have been settled, and my son came to pick up Kay.
I'm sorry. If I had listened to you back then. Everyone makes mistakes. Just make sure you don't repeat them.
I was relieved. If my son truly regretted his actions, Kay wouldn't have to suffer anymore. He'll probably raise Kay as a single father from now on, but I was ready to help in any way I could. But the next words from my son left me speechless. Also, I don't think the child with her is mine.
What?
It seems she was cheating on me with another man, and the child is likely his. I was always careful with contraception, so I thought it was odd.
You can't be serious. But how did you find out?
After talking it through, it felt like she was just after my money.
Upon investigating, my son discovered a younger affair partner and decided to divorce. He's currently waiting for the DNA test results. Thankfully, her parents are on my son's side, so there's no worry about the outcome.
So that's what happened. And it's not final yet, but, for Kay's sake, I'm thinking of getting back with his biological mother. I saw how much he's attached to her.
That makes sense. If it's the woman who gave birth to him, I can trust her with Kay. It seems my son and his ex-wife have reconciled, so maybe there's nothing to worry about anymore.
Are you planning to remarry right away? For now, I'm thinking of having her come over on weekends to stay. Gradually. I hope they can get used to each other. That's good. Make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes this time. You know, parenting isn't something one person does alone.
Of course. If he understands that, there's nothing more I need to say. Besides, there's going to be trouble with his new wife now, so that needs to be sorted out first. I know a lawyer, so I'll introduce him to my son. I'll do anything for my son as he starts his new life. After about 6 months, the issues with his new wife were settled, and it seems he decided to get back together with his ex-wife.
So, have you completely cut ties with her?
Yeah.
I cut ties with her. I wonder if she'll remarry that affair partner. No, from what I've heard, the affair partner has disappeared. She'll probably have to live on her own now.
Well, it seems like she's going to have a tough life, but it's the bed she made. A person who can betray others so easily can't complain when they betray themselves. It's just karma coming back to her.
Grandma, long time no see.
Hello there. Kay has grown so much, and despite everything that's happened, it's nice to see everyone smiling together in the end. Marriage is about supporting each other at all times. In the beginning, they probably didn't understand that, but now that they've reconciled, I hope they cooperate as a couple and protect their child. They're still young and, in my opinion, immature as parents. But if they can cover each other's weaknesses, act decisively, I hope the three of them will find happiness.